Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Yeah, we have 9 women that competed for 1 man on a blind date at a park. But at the same time, all around the world, it seems like people are avoiding the mixer type events. So let's tune in and see what they're talking about.
Last night, I had a blind date scheduled. My mom was quite excited because the guy was a teacher, one of the professions my parents like. After the matchmaker showed my photo to his parents, they immediately declined, politely saying that since I had already been a landscape and was relatively attractive, my standards would probably be high.
Wow.
They felt their son wouldn't be able to handle me, and hoped the matchmaker could find him a more down-to-earth, simple girl. I think my photo gave off a flashy, maybe difficult-to-handle impression. So, I didn't even get to meet the guy. I was rejected before even seeing him. The older single women are really on the verge of a breakdown this time. Recently, a large blind date event for 1,000 people was held in Shenzhen, but surprisingly, not a single man showed up. It's truly unbelievable. Everyone thought it would be an eagerly awaited event for both men and women, but the reality turned the venue into something.
Basically, when you go to these mixer events, it's basically a leftovers event. So you're not going to find nothing really fresh, or you're not going to meet the ideal person for whatever you're looking for. It's like going to these mixers is no different than seeing the girls on the dating apps. It's the same quality of women. These are single mothers, overweight women, and vice versa. It goes both ways.
Like the kingdom of women. A large group of single women had carefully prepared, dressed elegantly to attend the event, but upon arrival they were stunned. In this event with thousands of participants, there wasn't a single man present.
Wow.
Before coming, they had put in a lot of effort to dress up, hoping to find their ideal match here, but reality hit them hard. Why don't men nowadays want to attend blind dates anymore? Yesterday, I went to a speed dating event with 1,000 people, thinking I'd try my luck and see if I could find my ideal partner. When I went, I was full of confidence, even though I'm 39 years old, because I feel like I look similar to girls in their 20s, maybe even prettier than them. I thought, since I was so proactive, I would definitely get some results. When I arrived, I felt like someone who had just come out of the mountains, having never seen the world. There was a huge crowd with people over 60 years old, men in their 50s and young men in their 20s.
And you know what? If you know anything about the Bay Area, they hold mixers here. I remember last year I was messing around. I went to a mixers meetup in Santa Clara. Oh my God. I can't tell you what I seen there. I can't tell you. It was mostly older women, like 50 plus, in the 50 plus club. So all I seen was a bunch of muskrats. That's all I seen. So I was like, oh, hell no, exit, stage left.
And the women, oh, there were so many of them of all ages. During the event, there was an activity where men and women stood back to back, and if someone liked another person, they would stick their number on that person. I thought, maybe I could get 10 or 8 numbers stuck to me, who knows, maybe even fill my whole body up with them, since there are so many people and I think I'm attractive. In the end, I actually had 5 numbers stuck on me. 1 was from a grandfather over 60, 2 were from men in their 50s, and 1 was from a 35-year-old.
So basically these mixer events, there's going to be more seniors there than there is younger people. So that's why I was like, I'll never go to this shit again. But yeah. It was a room full of turkey necks. I was like, hell nah.
I thought I wouldn't consider anyone over 48 since they seemed too old. The 35-year-old seemed okay, he looked good overall. I chatted with him for a bit, but when he found out I was 39 years old, he simply gave up and said he didn't want to date someone too old. I don't know who he thinks he is, but he could have said something before leading me on like that. Another guy I stuck my number to was around 41 years old, and he had 10 numbers stuck on him, from women in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and even 50s. He directly chose a girl in her 20s and didn't even look at me.
Of course.
Why are people so realistic these days? I look like I'm in my 20s. If he married me with my good genes, our children would definitely be beautiful and handsome, right? In the end, neither of the 2 men was successful. I got angry and just went home. If I had known,
Yeah, you got to have tough skin when you go to these mixer events, especially women. So to the older women, you're gonna get a lot of rejections because the guys are gonna choose the youngest women in the room, even if they're not that attractive. There's older attractive women, but they're gonna choose the younger, less attractive women too.
I wouldn't have gone to that speed dating event. There wasn't a single attractive guy there. When I got back, I reflected on whether my age was truly the issue. It seemed I could only be matched with older men or men in their 50s who have already been married. But I don't want someone that old.
But see, the thing is, if you go for somebody that old, they're more in a better financial shape than you are. And you'll be taken care of versus the young guy.
Mindset is like an 18-year-old, maybe in my 20s. How could I be okay with someone who could be my father? Moreover, I'm such a quality person with a PhD and I manage well. So I thought I'll just wait a bit longer. Maybe my fate hasn't arrived yet.
Currently, the gender ratio in matchmaking parks has reached 9-1. When I saw this number, I was shocked. Now it's 9 guys competing for 1 girl? That's not quite right. This will definitely challenge your worldview. I have a friend from college. He's from Tianjin and just returned from one of those matchmaking parks. We talked on the phone, and he told me that now the ratio of women to men is 9-1.
Whoa.
At that moment, I said to him, how is that possible? There are a bunch of guys who can't find girlfriends, and since these parks became popular, men have always been in the majority, right? He told me that's not the case anymore. In the past 2 years, his family has been pressuring him to get married, so he started taking strolls in these parks. He mentioned that there are now way more women than men. I joked that with this ratio, he should be quite the catch, and I asked why he still hadn't found someone. Was he being too picky? But what he said really surprised me. He explained that men nowadays avoid these places because women's standards are too high. They've been watching so many short videos and now expect someone earning millions a year to meet their standards.
You know, we could blame social media and the hip-hop industry for this because they brainwash these women and tell them if you ain't got this and that, leave the broke ones alone, this, that. Yeah, that's what it really is.
I replied that people like that will continue to struggle to find boyfriends. However, he corrected me, saying that the women he knows don't ask for that much. They're pretty average, generally between 28 and 36 years old, looking for someone around 1.80 m tall, with a bachelor's degree and a monthly salary of about 10,000 yuan. And then I thought, but that's not such a high demand. There are plenty of people who meet that criteria, right? That's when he shared some data that truly reshaped my future plans. He explained that Tianjin has around 14 million residents, and the number of men in that age range is approximately 320,000. Among them, about 38% are over 1.80 m tall, and 50% hold a bachelor's degree. If you do the math,
See, here's the thing. A bachelor's degree is nothing now. Here in the West, they want you to have a master's now. So basically, if you don't have a master's degree, you're pretty much SOL. A bachelor's degree is now in the minimal category, so that's one thing.
Ones who meet all these criteria add up to just 200 or 300 men. This means that, distributed across all the districts in the city, there are only 4 or 5 ideal candidates in each neighborhood. Isn't that practically like looking for a needle in a haystack? He also teased me, asking if I really thought that 10 million yuan didn't make someone wealthy. He pointed out, look around you. Even those who have a 10 million yuan property are likely still paying off a mortgage. In China, 97% of the owners of publicly listed companies can't even raise that amount in cash. If someone truly has 10 million yuan in cash, just by leaving it in a bank to earn a safe 4% interest per year, they would make 400,000 yuan a year. That would place them in the top 3% of earners. He explained that for someone with 10 million yuan, just the interest alone would exceed the salary of most people. It's like on an airplane. There are over 100 seats, but only 5 are first class.
Wow. So basically, these are the 1%ers that he's talking about. Quite interesting how business works, right? So you actually can learn something from these videos. Because a lot of people think these videos are just gibberish, but I'm like, no. Because they're talking about non-average people.
In a bullet train with thousands of passengers, the business class has only 6 seats. So if nowadays you can find a job paying 8,000 yuan, you're already doing quite well. In these past few years, with the economic challenges, I was feeling quite anxious. But after hearing all this, I felt a sense of relief. I really recommend that everyone read my new article. I believe it will be inspiring for many. In my view, becoming rich overnight truly depends on a perfect combination of timing, location, and people. But achieving a monthly income of 10,000 or 20,000 yuan really just requires improving your mindset and execution.
It's very strange. Clearly, there are now 30.97 million more men than women, but in the marriage market, men have become a scarce commodity. At the matchmaking event in Hangzhou, over 300 women attended, but only about 10 men showed up.
So, I saw a lot of shorts and videos about this here in the United States that there were all women showing up to the mixers with no men because they already know what they're up against. Pretty much, people have the mindset now like, okay, they only came here because these are the group of women that nobody wanted. So why are we showing up there just to look at everybody else's leftovers? That's basically what that is. Like I said, these are the same women that are on the dating app.
At the matchmaking corner in People's Square in Shanghai, the male-to-female ratio reached an astonishing 1:9. Data from Baihe shows that in major cities, the ratio of men to women in the matchmaking market is also skewed towards more women than men, with some cities even reaching a ratio of 1:40. All these phenomena indicate that there are increasingly fewer men who meet the conditions and want to get married, and that supply does not meet demand. The reason is painful. Women are being overvalued, while men have laid down. The marriage market is experiencing a mismatch. To put it bluntly, there are indeed more men than women now, but the additional 30 million men hardly fit within these women's criteria for choosing a partner. What are the criteria for women in selecting a partner? Cars, houses, and money cannot be lacking. It's best if the job is stable, they have above average looks, are tall, and can also provide emotional value to the woman. But on the flip side, the men who meet these criteria haven't even graduated yet, and they're already being reserved, unable to enter the marriage market. For men, the entry barriers to the marriage market are quite high. Those with average family conditions, lower education, low salary, unstable jobs, below 1.70 meters in height, or even from rural areas cannot enter the matchmaking market.
But you gotta understand, you have to have money saved up for the dowry too. So that's another reason that's putting a lot of people out.
For women, however, the entry barrier is very low. As long as they're young and not unattractive, they qualify. This natural inequality results in an awkward situation where it's easy to find a woman, but difficult to find a man. In such a disparate ratio, women are still being brainwashed by capitalism, maintaining the mindset of better to have quality than quantity. Men, on the other hand, can only lie flat and reject being simp economy, leading to a complete collapse. From the men's perspective, since they can't find partners, can't get married, and can't sustain a family, they might as well play games, spend a little money, and love themselves. Fundamentally speaking, as the economy rolls forward, the concepts of marriage are regressing to the old days, where men want to settle for less and women demand a higher price. The mindset that men should buy cars, houses, and pay dowries is the main reason for the current mismatch in the marriage market. What do you think?
So just imagine as a man doing all that. You pay a dowry, you live up to her expectations, and you just to get treated like shit. That's what a lot of these guys are like, fuck that. We're not doing that. Because the women are going to get what they want, but the men aren't going to get what they want. Like the relationship, the marriage is supposed to be transactional, but you guys are both always constantly fighting and arguing about who pays what and who does this.
Sure. Here's the transcription in English. Did you know that a few days ago, there was a matchmaking event in Hangzhou with 1,000 people? The result was that there were no men present. Why is that? There were about 300 or 400 women, but the men who showed up were less than 10.
What the hell?
Strange, right?
No.
Indeed. Let's see what the internet users are saying about this.
Oh boy.
To me, the reality is really ironic. One internet user commented that pursuing a girl nowadays is like going to a cemetery. You go there and she's lying still, and on top of that she consumes your offerings. Then she tells you that you went to the wrong grave, haha. Another internet user said that wealthy men don't need to go to these events, so they don't.
They don't. They find escorts and prostitutes and everything, yeah.
As for men who don't have money, they go, but it's pointless, so they don't really have a need to attend either. Some people even compare this to leftover food in a
I told you.
restaurant. The leftovers are always the dishes that couldn't be sold. But why were the other dishes sold and this one not? Basically, there are several points. First, the appearance of the dish isn't appealing. Second, the taste of the dish is bad. Third, the dish is too old and the texture isn't good. Fourth, these leftovers have already been tasted by others who
I mean, none of these girls are untouched, so I don't understand. What's I mean, what, y'all looking for a virgin?
thought they weren't worth it, so they were left behind. Fifth, people say that even though the dish isn't great, it's still priced very high. Honestly, as a woman, I feel quite saddened by this.
Uh-oh.
But I still encourage women to be more proactive. If you're over 30, don't wait for men to chase you.
Ooh, she giving y'all a game. So that's why a lot of these older women can't find nobody, because they're like 35 plus still waiting for guys to approach them and chase them and kiss their ass a certain way. So that's why you see a lot of these older women still single, because they wanted their ass kissed to be a certain way, and the guys that they encountered refused to do that.
Be more active and pursue the men you like. You might have a bit more hope that way. If you wait for someone to come after you, the chances are basically non-existent.
A recent video was quite shocking. At the matchmaking conference in Hangzhou, there wasn't a single prince present. The world is truly full of surprises. I just saw a message on my phone saying that in various places, there are only single women. Many women are emotionally collapsing, and many netizens are as confused as I am, wondering why so many single men are not showing up. Do they not want to get married? What is going on after all? I saw a netizen who gave a standard answer. He made a very visual analogy, saying it's like the dishes in a restaurant. What are the dishes that are left over and not sold? Why have the other dishes sold out? What exactly is left? He summarized it in a few points. First, the appearance of the dishes is not good. Second, the taste of the dishes is bad. Third, the dishes are old and the texture is unpleasant. Fourth, and most importantly, when looking at these dishes, it seems...
So basically, it sounds like the women that attend these events are probably going to be all washed up. It looks like life pretty much kicked their ass. They're too big. They're single mothers, ex-divorcees. Just a lot of baggage. So this is pretty much a baggage event. So they know that the women are problematic. So the guys don't even bother showing up because they know they're left with scraps. That's why they're not coming to those events, because they already know what type of women are going to be there. So why waste time?
Seems like they have been consumed by other people. Fifth, these dishes, despite being mediocre, are sold at exorbitant prices. Additionally, some netizens commented that the pressure of life for men nowadays is very high. Who isn't always rushing to make money? A man without money is not valued. Even if he has some marks on his face, he is still not valued. And rich men, how could they be interested in these leftover dishes?
They're not.
It's surprising to note that despite there being 30.97 million more men than women in the marriage and relationship market, men have become a scarce resource. This situation highlights a significant misalignment in this market. Although the total number of men is higher, those who meet women's selection criteria are rare. For women, the standards include having a house, a car, a good salary, a stable job, an attractive appearance, and suitable height, along with...
Okay, so when we compare this to the Western world, are you noticing a pattern? Because I am. Have you noticed that most of these women require the same thing? Not no bad boy type shit. Like in the West, it's more of a bad boy thing. The women in the West don't require none of this. You could be living at home with your mom, and as long as you cool to other people, the women, you'll get all the women. But versus over there, if you don't have an expensive car, a house, and a high-paying job, you pretty much ain't getting nobody. So we ended on that note. This is Kai DeVale. Thanks for tuning in. 3 videos in one day. Audi 5000.